Welcome back. I'm Brian Fonseca, Action Network, and we are here looking at another big fight week. And this time, we have a heavyweight championship showdown. Daniel Dubois defending his IBF heavyweight championship, and that's going to be against Anthony Joshua, former unified heavyweight champion, who is a sizable favorite for this. But if you love classic heavyweight boxing, two big-ass dudes going in the ring with legitimate knockout power, I have a fight for you because this is the one. And they also have 3 knockout losses between them. Anthony Joshua has 3 losses in his career, 1 to Andy Ruiz. In 2019, it was the upset of the year, and I would say probably the upset of the decade in a shocking turn of events. And we have Daniel Dubois on the other side, who has multiple knockout losses in his career, 1 to Alexander Usyk, who also beat Anthony Joshua twice, and then another to Joe Joyce when the two were fighting over the British, Commonwealth, European, and multiple other heavyweight championships during the pandemic, the height of the pandemic of 2020, where Daniel Dubois, seemingly up in the fight, was knocked out late. So in this particular bout, this is seen as part of the redemption tour for Anthony Joshua, who is looking to regain championship gold for the first time in a few years in the heavyweight division. And Anthony Joshua is going to have advantages here in terms of height reach, slight advantages, but still height reach. From a counter-punching standpoint, he's going to be more effective. He has a much better jab. He has a much better body of work. But Daniel Dubois has more recent body of work, has beaten better competition as of late. Jarrell Miller 2 fights ago, and then Filip Hrgović most recently. Daniel Dubois won both those fights by stoppage, and both of those fights against guys who were undefeated. Filip Hrgović was seen as the next guy to win this IBF heavyweight title, was also a 2 or 3 to 1 favorite depending on where you looked prior to that bout, and Daniel Dubois ended up getting an upset knockout. Better than anyone Anthony Joshua's beaten in a long time. Anthony Joshua, since losing to Alexander Usyk multiple times, has been undefeated and has looked very good, but his best win might be Jermaine Franklin. There's an Otto Wallin win. There's a win over Francis Ngannou, which if you watched our preview there, I told you that he was going to obliterate Francis Ngannou because he's going to take him seriously. Tyson Fury did not. And in this particular bout, I think Anthony Joshua is the rightful favorite, but I think Daniel Dubois has a little bit more value than what he's being given. So because there's a history here of questionable chins, Anthony Joshua's been down in his career 5 times. 4 times to Andy Ruiz, and there was another time to Vladimir Klitschko back in the day. And he has also been rocked in numerous other occasions. And then you have Daniel Dubois, who was knocked down 3 times by Kevin Lerena, knocked down and knocked out, as I mentioned, by Joe Joyce. And he was also knocked out by Alexander Usyk. So there is a history of knockdowns here. And I think in this fight, and this is my favorite bet for this fight, over 1.5 knockdowns, minus 140 at one particular book. Hopefully there's more value by the time fight time rolls around, but I'm willing to take the juice there because it covers you in case there's an upset. That's 1. 2, heavy hitters, and 3, guys that have gotten up from knockdowns in bad situations. Again, only stopped once on the Anthony Joshua side, and then Daniel Dubois has gotten up from multiple knockdowns over the course of his career. I think it's more likely that in this particular fight that, as opposed to each guy knocking the other one down once or so, that could happen also, but I think it's more likely that somebody just knocks down the other guy multiple times. It's more likely going to be Anthony Joshua, but you're covered in case there's an upset because Anthony Joshua has been on the wrong side of an upset before against a guy that Daniel Dubois, frankly, would beat right now in Andy Ruiz. The other piece of this is I want to bet Daniel Dubois, and he is a big underdog. And I think that he has more of a puncher's chance than the books are letting up. I think it's more likely that Anthony Joshua wins the fight, but there's not a ton of value on getting there. So I want to sprinkle maybe 1/10 of a unit, 2/10 of a unit at most, something very light, on Daniel Dubois to get the stoppage because Anthony Joshua's been on the receiving end of this before, and also Daniel Dubois is several years younger than Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is in his mid-30s. Daniel Dubois is plus 600 to get the stoppage here. I want some of that. I just want a little bit, right? The main bet here, over 1.5 knockdowns. But I do think there's a chance that Anthony Joshua, who is significantly older, gets stopped again. And this time, it would be at Wembley Stadium. Can't wait for this fight. Make sure that if you do bet on the fight, track your picks on the Action Network app, where I'm going to have multiple things logged for this fight and then other fights going on. And make sure that if you do watch this video, check out our other boxing preview for the week. Jaime Munguia is back in the ring on ESPN, so we'll have something on that as well. Take care and enjoy the fights.